What up, my peeps? Long time no see. I know some of you are gonna trip because you ain't seen a video for so long, but I figured I would do it for you guys because I've been noticing like a lot of people still watch my videos and still get a pretty good amount of people like asking me like when I'm gonna start making videos again. So here I am. I will say I probably told most of my prison experiences. I have a few more that I might tell, but I still have a lot of paranormal experiences, and I kind of been thinking about I might start reading like some other like prison experiences like off of Reddit because I was doing a little bit of research and I did notice there's a lot of really good paranormal prison stories on there, and I know a lot of people out there like those. I love those because there's something about that combination of the two, the paranormal and the prison environment makes it kind of like extra scary or different or whatever. But anyway, I got this story right here is about when I was in high school. Oh, real quick, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Um, and yeah, if this is your first time watching one of my videos are kind of raw. Like I just shoot and upload. Like I don't do any editing. So yeah, there's gonna be some mistakes and stuff, but that's just the way I do my videos. And then this is the secret location right here. This is the Bat Cave. You know what I'm saying? So this is my work. I do overnight graveyard shifts um, for a security company at a call center. So I'm here all night till 6 a.m. all by my lonesome in this big spooky building. But anyway, I'm just sitting here watching security cameras, chilling with you guys for tonight. So anyway, like I said, this is gonna be a story about when I was in high school. I went to Chandler High. I graduated in '90, and this happened when I was a sophomore. And how this story starts is because a couple of my homies used to slang, but they were like small time. They never like were anything big or anything. But one of them owed me $20. I don't remember for what. And instead of like just giving me 20, I don't know if his ass was being cheap or if he was broke. Because like I said, he was a small time broke ass dope man. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, he told me I'm gonna give you a 20 bag of weed instead of that, $20. And I was like, I was never like a real big pothead. Like I used to smoke a little bit with my homies because they were all freaking potheads or whatever you want to call them, like stoners, weed heads. So I was like, man, what am I gonna do with that much weed? I don't smoke that much like you. So he goes, no, he told me, he goes, I'll help you roll it into joints and we'll sell it at school and you'll double your money. So I was like, all right, whatever. So so I got my notes right here that I'm looking at. For those that have never watched one of my videos, I usually put down notes so I don't forget like any anything that happened in the story or whatever. But anyway, so he rolled it for me. He was real good at all that shit. He rolled it for me into like I don't even remember how many joints he rolled it into, but we sold them, man, back there like I think for like a decent sized little joint. It wasn't like a pinner. Like that's what we used to call the real skinny little joints. I don't know what to call them now. It was like a decent sized joint. I think it was like I want to say maybe like $3. Might have been $2 because this is like um, if didn't say the year, this was like '88. So I think it was about $2 or $3 for each joint, right? So like I think I ended up making like about 45, $50 maybe off that 20 bag. So anyway, it only took us like three class periods to sell all the joints, and mostly we sold them like in one of the bathrooms in the boys' bathroom. and he helped me sell them, right? And so like I couldn't believe like how fast we sold them, and he was like, man, he goes, because before that he had never sold at school because, obviously it's like really risky because, you know, kids are they're gonna snitch, like if they get caught, they're gonna tell on your ass, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, like 2 weeks later, I get called into the principal's office. And, I'm thinking, like, what the fuck is this about? Like, I haven't done shit. And then I remembered the joints, and I started thinking, oh shit, like, I bet you somebody snitched or somehow they found out, right? So the funny thing is, the assistant principal that I went to go see, his name was Dr. McLeod, Chuck McLeod. And he was a big, tall brother, like about 6'6", 6'7", and he used to play for the Chicago Bears. He played defensive end, and he played on the team back then with Richard Dent, Mike Singletary, Walter Payton, the refrigerator Perry. I know most of if you're a little bit older and you know about football, you've heard of all those players, right? He was on a Super Bowl winning team. He even had a big old Super Bowl ring, right? But back then, he didn't like me at the time because he considered me a troublemaker, right? But the funny thing is, I ended up after I graduated, and I know this is getting a little bit off topic. After I graduated, came back from the military and everything, I ended up coming back to Chandler High and getting a job there doing campus security, and he was the one that hired me. And it's a funny story, but anyway, so he tells me to come in, and first thing he tells me is, "Let me see your backpack." And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because you're under suspicion of selling drugs on my campus." And I was like, "What?" But I played it cool, but inside I was thinking, "Oh fuck," I was right. Somebody told or something. So he grabs my backpack. Then he tells me, "Turn out your pockets." So I turn out my pockets, and he tells me, "Pull up your pant legs." And then like he just like kind of looked at he made me slide my socks down. Um, and then I don't think he made me take my shoes off, but he looked at my backpack, and then he told me, he goes, "At this time," he goes, "your locker is being searched." He goes, "You," he goes, are they gonna find anything?" And I was like, "No." I said, "I don't know what you're talking about, man." I said, I ain't selling no drugs, man." I said, "You got the wrong guy." And the crazy thing is, at the time, I was thinking, fuck, because I used to share lockers with two of my homies. And like I said, one of them was a dope man. So I had told him several times, "You better not ever keep none of your shit inside of our locker because they do random locker searches. But I didn't know if he had listened to me. So when he told me the locker was being searched, I was nervous, man. I was like, damn, I hope they don't find anything in the locker or else I'm screwed, you know what I mean? And so like he just like asked me a bunch of questions and like, was trying to scare me, tell me what was gonna happen, this and that. And then after a while they called them on the radio, and they told them like that's a negative. So he goes, "Where's the drugs?" And I said, "Man, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any drugs. I don't sell drugs." And he goes, and he had good information. I don't know who he's getting it from, but he goes, "Well, what about your friend Navarette?" And I've talked about him in some of my other videos. He was a crazy ass dude. I know I always say all my friends were crazy, but no lie on God, like my friend Tony was a nut. He was half Apache and half Mexican. So right there, that tells you why he was so crazy. But anyways, he was, he used to slang, and he used to sell everything from weed, juice, like steroids, um, and some other stuff, that makes you see crazy stuff. I won't say what, but you can use your imagination. Like, well, I'll say he used to sell shrooms and other stuff too, like the stuff the hippies used to like back in the day. But anyway, so that's what he asked me. He goes, "What about your friend Navarette?" And I was like, I said, man, he don't sell no drugs. I said, you're gonna have to ask him yourself. I said, man, I don't know nothing about nobody selling no drugs or nothing like that. So he goes, I'm gonna be keeping an eye on you, you know. And I had been in a few fights already, you know, at school. This is my sophomore year, so he brought that up too, you know, about basically like saying that I was a troublemaker, like always mixed up and shit. Like he said, you and your friends are always mixed up in or in the mix or something like that, you know. So he told me, he said, I'm gonna be keeping my eyes on you, you know. It's like, all right, cool, you know. And then so I left, and so the crazy thing is, maybe like 2 weeks later, I mean, at the time it didn't seem crazy, it just seemed normal, but all of a sudden there was a new student in my math class, and she was sitting in front of me. I don't remember if they like moved whoever was sitting in front of me, but all I know is one day I come to class and there's a new student, and she's sitting in front of me. So maybe they explained to the teacher, like, why she was gonna sit there, right? But at the time, I didn't know this new student was an undercover cop, and she looked like a teenager. I mean, she looked like, I didn't, she didn't look weird, like she didn't look older or nothing like that. Um, and she was pretty. She was, I think she was white. She, she was pretty. She had kind of like brownish blonde curly hair, kind of tall, and like, just she looked decent. Like like a attractive, high school girl that like most, high school dudes would probably want to get with. You know what I mean? So they probably figured that would help get the info. So anyways, like I just remember like right away. I mean, I thought it was cool. Like right away, she turned around and started talking to me, and I think she said she was from Colorado or something like that. And I don't remember what name she said, but it don't matter. But she was like being real friendly and like kind of flirty with me. And then like right away, she asked me like, so do you know where? I don't. And I think she said pot. That should have like that should have like been a red flag. But I think she asked me, do you know where to get some pot? And I remember thinking like pot, like who the fuck calls it pot? Like I was thinking like, but maybe I was thinking maybe her parents are like hippies or something, and like so she's using like a old ass word, because that's like from the '70s, I think. But of course, like I wasn't thinking with the right head. Like I said, she was cute, so I was thinking like, can I get with this girl? So I was like, yeah. And so she's like, when can we get it? She's like, can we get some today? And so of course I was like, yeah, we can get some like next period, which was like, it was the period right before lunch. So we were gonna ditch and go get some, from the homie. And I think he already had it on him, but of course he wanted to play it off like, he didn't like to, obviously let people know that he had it on him or whatever, right? So we ended up ditching the next class. It was me, the homie Tony, and then I think it was one of our crazy ass white friends, this white dude named Carl Barnes. Uh, so like we were like walking off campus, and we had just crossed the street and like entered this alley. We were gonna like walk through the alley, and then like I think we were just gonna go like chill in the alley and smoke it, and just wait till lunchtime to start, and then we're probably gonna head to Jack and Box after that or something, right? So we're walking down the alley. We had just barely entered the alley, and then like we see this car like coming from like a little side street to connect us to the alley, and it was like one of the school district cars. We recognized right away because they used to be like kind of like dark brown, and it said Chandler Schools on the side. And It was the security guard. He was this. I never like. I don't remember if he's Mexican or Samoan, but he might have been like mixed or something. But his name was Sisto. I'll just say his first name because I don't know if people like to be included in videos or whatever. But he was a big ass Samoan uh, or Mexican dude, and but he was cool as fuck. Like he was like I was cool with him. Like I would always talk to him and stuff. And dude was like he was just big and like he was like super strong. Like he had won like a silver or a bronze medal in the Pan American Games for discus, I think, or shot put, and then he also won a silver medal for Greco-Roman wrestling. So dude was no joke. Or no, actually not. Why am I saying discus? He won a medal for powerlifting. That's what it was, and then another medal for Greco-Roman wrestling. So dude was just a badass, and like he was cool as fuck, right? So anyway, this other dude was with him. He was kind of an older dude, a big white dude, and he was the athletic director. I won't say his name or anything, but anyways, they pulled up and like we stopped when we seen them. We were like, oh fuck, like what are we gonna do? Like, because we knew we were busted, So Sisto looks at me, he tells me, he goes, hey, he goes, come over here real quick. So I come walking up to the car, and he goes, hey, he goes, where are you guys going? And I said, I mean, I knew we were busted, so I said we were gonna ditch, and just like go hang out somewhere. And he goes, let me tell you something. He goes, that girl that's with you, she's an undercover cop. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, she's an undercover cop. So he goes, I don't know what you guys were gonna go do, but you guys need to turn around and go back to campus and stay away from her, or your asses are gonna, be in, deep shit. I was like, oh shit. I was like, all right, man, thanks. So like, we turned around and then obviously he told me like, don't tell her I told you. Just tell her, tell your friends I told you guys you need to go back to campus, or you're going to in school detention or whatever. So I headed back and I told them like, hey, we got to go back. Like, obviously we're caught, And then so we headed back to campus, and then like, I think she just like kind of said, all right, I'm gonna go to class or something like that. And then so like the next day she was gone. Like she never came back to class. I don't know if like they figured her cover was blown or what, but like I always wondered like if they ever said anything, like if the cops ever said anything to that security guard or to the athletic director, because you would think they'd be pissed, because he told us, but maybe they didn't know. I don't know, because we didn't say anything. But anyway, like dodged a fucking bullet. You know what I'm saying? But that's not even the end of the story, man. Like the last kind of part of this story that happened was like maybe about a week, and I think it's just kind of a coincidence, but I'm not sure. Like I happened to be I went to go see one of my younger homies. His name was Marco. He was like maybe like about a year or two younger than me and all my homies, but he was kind of like one of those dudes. Like he was kind of like big for his age, and he kind of like just he always kicked it with us. And he lived at not the projects where I grew up, but he lived at some different projects. The ones on McQueen. Yeah, McQueen and I think it's McQueen and Chandler Boulevard. But anyway, I was over there chilling with him, and he was like a big time pothead, man. Like he was high like every day. One of those dudes. He like woke up and smoked weed before school, during lunch. He was like one of those dudes, right? But he was a cool dude, cool young dude. And so, anyways, we're chilling at his crib, and then he was like saying, like, "Can you take me to go get some smoke?" I was like, "Man, all right." So we get in my ride, and like, man, back then, like, no joke, like I've said in some of my other videos, like I was, I grew up like, and I'm not gonna say this to brag, but like me and my homies were always about throwing knees, man. Like we were all into like boxing, kickboxing, and like like I did wrestling, and so we were all about that, right? But I always stayed strapped just because I knew that there's always times when you might need one, and like I said, I used to carry a 380 in my pocket sometimes, and then I used to have a Mossberg pump pistol grip shotgun that I used to carry in my car. And so like I usually kept that like under the front seat, or like under like I used to have one of those little Mexican blankets, And so anyway, like I take him over there to go get some smoke, and I didn't know who he was gonna go get it from because he didn't tell me, right? He just said this one of the older homies over here at the other, like because the projects were kind of like divided in half. So he said over there on the other side. So we pull up in my ride, and I was just gonna stay in my car, right? But I see this dude walking out to our car, and right away I recognized him. I knew who he was. He was like my brother's age. He was like maybe like about 2.5, 3 years older than us, and he was all sleeved up from like both of his arms up to his neck, even a couple on his face. And I knew he had just gotten out of the pen. And obviously, I'm not going to say his name, but homeboy was he was he was in the Emma. He was in the Mexican mafia, and uh, and so right away when I seen him, I was like, man, he's fucking getting weed from this dude. And so he comes walking up, and he recognized me too. So he's like, what's up, what's up, Javi, and he said, you're so and so's brother, huh, younger brother. And I said, yeah. And then so like, I shook his hand, and then he gave the smoke to Marco, and then like, see, this is what really made me mad, because Marco kind of like set me up. He didn't know, I don't think, but he was probably either that older dude, that OG, like kind of like obviously like put him up to it. So anyway, what happened was he goes, hey, so he goes, well, I'm trying to remember what he said, but like he basically said like, you know, I know you're a young dude, but Marco was telling me you're like you're about the game or whatever or something like that. He said I know you're about throwing them hands, like you got some skills, and you're down or whatever. And then he said, and I know you ready for whatever, because he told me you'd be carrying a fucking cannon, with you in your car, And I was like, man, why the fuck did he tell this dude all this stuff? And so then he was like, he asked me if he could see it, and that made me really nervous, because like, I don't know, man, but you don't hand a loaded gun to anybody, especially somebody you don't know. That, I mean, I knew him, but we weren't like homies or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I just told him, I think I told him it's in the trunk or something like that. I don't really want to get it out. And I think it was actually like under the seat or something. But um, he's like, all right, so that's cool. And then, but then he asked me, like, this is what like the whole thing was all about, I guess. He says, so you know, the young homie right there told me you've been moving some product or something like that. And I was like, man, I said, nah, that was just like a one time thing. Because the homie owed me some money. So he paid me in weed, so he helped me sell it, just to make that money back. And then like he basically to make a long story short, like he asked me if I was wanted to start moving some product for him. And I was like, damn, I was like, I can't believe this motherfucker Marco put me in this situation, right? And I just basically told him like, no, man, respectfully, like, nah, that's not me. Like, uh, I don't want to start doing that like on a regular basis. And then he was like, you sure? And I was like, yeah. I said, yeah, respectfully, like I'm gonna say no. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, all right then, and then so I told Marco, I said, wait, man, you ready, man? Because um, I don't remember what I said. Like I said, like I had to be somewhere or something, made up some bullshit. So then we started to drive off, and as soon as we drove off, I look at him and I'm like, you stupid motherfucker, man. And he was like, what? And I said, man, you fucking told all that shit about, told him all that shit about me. And he was like, yeah, why? I said, man, you know who he is, dude? And then he said his name. He's like, yeah, I know. He's like an OG, and this now. I said, dude, he's in the fucking M, bro. He's in the Mexican mafia. And you're fucking like chilling with him and talking with him and stuff. I said, you're fucking stupid, man. And he was like, oh, she's like, I didn't really think about it like that. I just get weed from him. And I said, well, whatever, dude. I said, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I said, if you want to look up to him and idolize him or whatever and listen to what he's telling you, you're going to end up in the pen just like him. Because I said, I know pretty soon he'll be going back, and which he did. He ended up going back. And, so I actually have a story about that dude because the crazy thing is like when I was working at SMU1, I actually ended up seeing him there, because SMU1 is like mostly all security threat groups, like all the prison gang members and stuff. So I ended up seeing him there, and I was the CO. But anyway, I'll tell that story in another video. But or actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just tell it right now because it's a short story. I'll just go ahead and add it on to this. So like years later, after I came back from my military and all that, I ended up working at DLC, like I've talked about a lot. And so this is like maybe let's say like 94 or 95, I think. And so one day, just walking through one of the pods, and if anybody doesn't know what SMU1 is, it's a supermax prison. Uh, the inmates in there are all violent offenders. Like I said, security threat group. Like dangerous, violent criminals. And so I'm walking through one of the pods doing a security check, and actually this particular pod um, that I was walking through um, was for PCs. And so like when I was walking through that pod, I get to like one of the last cells in the pod, and I see this dude in one of the cells, and it was him. And in my, like I kind of like tripped out when I seen him, and he kind of looks at me, and then he turned his back, and then just like walked to the back of the cell, and he didn't say nothing to me. And I was like tripping out. I was like, what the fuck is he doing in here? Because like he was a pretty bad dude. He was like an enforcer, for the Emmy. And so like I just walked out, I didn't say nothing to him, and then so like I ended up like I asked some people back in the hood about him, like I told some people that I had seen him in there and where he was at. And so I ended up finding out that I guess like so this is what happens to a lot of guys that are in that, and a lot of them will tell you the same thing. Like usually they get themselves in trouble um like because they don't do something right, like they fuck up or they refuse an order or something. So basically what happened was I think it was his nephew was at a party somewhere in the south side, and a house party, and he got into it with a dude that was an OG that had just gotten out of the pen, and he ended up shooting him. He ended up shooting that OG, and so like when it got back to the pen, like they told him, when he gets here, you're gonna you're gonna take him out because that's how they do it. If it's your blood, they're gonna make you deal with them. So I guess he refused. He refused to kill his nephew. So he ended up, greenlighted. Greenlit. He ended up on the hit list because he refused to take his nephew out. But yeah. So anyway, like I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there. I hope you guys, enjoyed this video. I know I haven't done one in a long time, I wasn't sure if I was gonna do anymore. Cause like I haven't really been feeling like it, even though I still got like pretty good amount of stories. Like just it's something that I kind of like have to get in the right frame of mind, the right mode for, or whatever. But anyway, hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to hit like, comment, so I can chat. Interact with you guys. And for now, that's it. Your homie Big Cisco. Peace.